For more now on the FBI email review, let's bring in our CBS News elections director, Anthony Salvanto, who has just finished polling more than 4,000 voters in battleground states. All right, so Anthony, what is the fallout from Director Comey's decision?
Well, everybody in the battleground states has certainly heard about it. 8 and 10 said they had heard about it. And, you know, what is happening, Elaine, is that partisans are dividing, as we so often find partisans do. So Republicans told us they think this is bad, and they think that the emails, if eventually read, will be damaging to Hillary Clinton. Democrats, on the other hand, said, well, we think people are making too much of this, and it will probably be more of what they already know. And I think when you look overall at the number of people, which is small, who said that they might be less likely or it might change their vote for Hillary Clinton, what you see is that both of these camps have pretty much already made up their minds, and where it will potentially hurt Hillary Clinton is not so much in an erosion of people who are already with her, but more of limiting her ability to grow out beyond that base, because some of the people who were still on the fence, and that's not many, now they're the ones who say they might be less likely to vote for her because of something like this, Elaine.
So we have seen a few of these October surprises this month. How much, in general, are these surprises moving voters?
Well, it really is a different world now in terms of a very, very partisan electorate that we've seen over the last few cycles that's a lot different than it was 20 or 30 years ago when we had more swing voters and more partisans willing to cross lines. And I think what you see happening is that you have people who, rather than take in new information and then act or change on it, you often have partisans taking in new information and then filtering it through that partisan lens. They already know what they think, and they already have their side's approach to it. And I think what you see is that's making it much harder for anybody to move the needle or for any late campaign event to move the needle. And I would quickly add, there's also early voting now, which is with 20 million people having already cast ballots, a lot of folks in the polls saying, well, we already turned in our vote, Elaine.
Yeah, all right. So finally, Anthony, let us zoom out now and look at these 4 battleground states that you surveyed this week. Clinton is leading in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Colorado. Trump is ahead in Arizona. How do the candidates translate these numbers into turnout in the final days of this campaign?
Right. You know, we always say it all comes down to turnout, but that's because it all comes down to turnout. You know, what happens, Elaine, now is the Clinton campaign is very dependent on making sure they get a large number of young people, a large number of African Americans, and those suburban voters that they do win out to the polls. They'd like to, and at the moment it looks like in places like North Carolina, they'd like to stack up a lead in the early vote going into Election Day. That's been a Democratic formula for the last couple of cycles. For Donald Trump, he's got to get that turnout that he needs. He's also got a few minds to change, in particular with Republicans, because even though he does very well with Republicans, he doesn't do as well yet as other Republican candidates have. If he can close that gap, maybe 5 to 10 points among Republicans, and get them to the polls, then I think we see these races, which are already fairly tight, get even tighter, Elaine.
All right, Anthony Salvanto, our CBS News elections director, or as John Dickerson refers to you, the mastermind behind our CBS Battleground Trackers. Anthony, thanks so much.
Thanks.